At the time of this recording, we're in the middle of summer here in Orlando, Florida, and the question comes up quite often, is there a right or wrong way to recover when you're training and racing in the heat? And the answer is absolutely yes, but probably not for the same reasons that you're thinking. When we're looking at bringing your core body temperature down, it is a very difficult situation for you as an individual because you're extremely hot. You may be at a point where you almost feel sick to your stomach because of the intensity, the duration, the air temperature, the humidity, and you just want to immediately get into the coolest environment you possibly can. You have to recognize that that can become as stressful as the workout that you just did in the heat and humidity. So for example, if I were to put it in mechanical terms, if I could take an engine after it's just been raced and I could get it out of its engine mounts and I could toss it into an ice bath, what would you say is going to happen to that material? Well, we would all agree that the engine casings are going to crack because of the extreme contrast in temperature. And I want you to use that illustration for stress on you as a human being. So when you're looking to bring yourself out of a hot, humid condition, stop and think about the stress. The stress that you're already under, do you want to add more stress to it, or do you want to gradually decrease the stress? Obviously, it's the latter of the two. If you have multiple events in one day, it becomes even more imperative because you go and you race, or maybe you have multiple training sessions, you train or race. Well, that time in between your next session is all about recovery. Well, if you, instead of have a good recovery cycle, you add more stress before it can come down, you don't get the full benefit. When you're dealing with a hot, humid environment, do yourself a favor and stop and think about the stress that you're putting the body through. Get into the shade. Obviously, first and foremost, get as much skin exposed as you can because that's going to facilitate the exothermic process, getting the internal heat to the skin so you can wick away that internal heat. Start drinking some cold fluids. That'll cool the body down literally from the inside out. That one's pretty obvious. Try not to jump into a dramatic temperature change. Now, I get it. You're going to feel as if submerging yourself into that cold body of water or maybe jumping into an ice cold. If you're done for the day, jumping into that cold air-conditioned room, it's not going to be so bad because you are going to lose some energy, but you're already done for the day. You're trying to bring the core temperature down quickly, but understand that you are adding more stress to the system. It feels good. Use the mechanical terms. If you make the contrast in temperature too much too quickly, it can actually rob you of energy. Now, obviously, when you're dealing with an air-conditioned room, it's not like it's at 31 degrees, like darn near freezing, okay? But I do see people jumping into ice baths immediately afterwards and wonder why they, as the day progresses, they just feel more fatigued than usual. It's because of the additional stress of making too much of a contrast in temperature, particularly through submersion. So as I said earlier, expose the skin, drink some cold fluids, get in the shade, get a fan on you. There's other things that you can do to add to that, but it's beyond the scope of this particular video. I just want you to remember, when you're trying to recover in hot, humid conditions, think about the subject of stress, especially when you have multiple sessions in one day. You want to be able to start as strong as you finished, and you want to do that by reducing stress, ironically, while you're trying to recover. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense to you on how to do it and reduce stress and improve performance. Do me a favor. If you happen to have a question or something you want me to do a dive into, send me an email, contact@coachrobb.com. Every morning here on YouTube, we're launching a new video. So please subscribe, turn on the notifications, and we look forward to talking to you again tomorrow morning.